How to become a SEAL. An After the Flash guide. So, you want to become a SEAL. You go to the homepage, you fill in the application. You fill out your character sheet. You spend 2 months staring at the results channel. And then? Denied. You sit there, staring at your character sheet. You wonder to yourself, what did I do wrong? Vague military transition? Civilian life is a railroad into a military career? Doesn't focus much on character as a whole? What do these phrases even mean? That is where I, hiding behind a text-to-speech software so I don't get in trouble, come in. I am here to help you, desperate for your mech suit, write the character sheet the commanders want. Really, at the end of the day, it's up to you to write the sheet they want, but damn it if I won't try to help you understand what all that in the results channel means. Am I an authority on the matter? Not at all. I'm not a lore play master. I'm not even a role play master. But, I'm also not an idiot. I can write a character. I've written characters before. Before we begin, I won't answer the application questions. I won't tell you what to write, either. Not exactly. At the end of the day, the commanders aren't looking for another generic grumpy old man with PTSD who hates anyone of ACMF descent. They want a character that is at least somewhat unique, has motives and reasons to exist. They're looking for a human. Firstly, what should the character be like overall? An important element should be balance. Nobody in the world is all good or all bad. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, from the lowest in society to the top dogs of the world. Think about what skills your character has. How did they get these skills? Why? How is this relevant to who they are? What things are they not as good at, and again, how is this relevant? Write their skills into their backstory. If they have skills as a mechanic or engineer, show this in their backstory. You need to back up claims about your character with evidence in their lore. It doesn't particularly matter how you back this up, as long as it's fitting to whatever you've written and as long as it fits into the After the Flash lore. It's a similar case with personality. What positive and negative traits do they have? How did they get this way? How do these traits cause them to relate to the people around them? I feel it's important to note that SEALs were expected to work in teams, so having a prickly, hard to get along with character, at least pre-Flash, simply won't work. At the same time, you don't want to make a Mary Sue type character either. Do not make them perfect. Again, it's about balance. I will agree, it is tricky to get the balance just right. I feel a good way to go about this would be to make a trait a double-edged sword, so to speak. Say the character is laid back and easy to get along with and overall, a relaxed person. They meld with teams well, but, at the same time, this laid-backness means at times, they do not meet situations with the correct level of seriousness they may require. That's just an example, but, the point still stands. That's the sort of mix and balance I feel SEAL commanders would be looking for in terms of personality as well as skills and other such aspects. Now for the civilian life. What is this? Essentially, setup. You may want to dedicate around 2 or 3 decently sized paragraphs to this. You'll want to detail their family situation, where they grew up, how they grew up. Did they come from a broken home? How did they perform in school? How did their personality and skills develop during this time? What events happened around them and how did that influence them? At the end of the civilian life, they'll be joining the military. It's important to set up a reason as to why. Don't just have them suddenly join at the end, give their joining of the military purpose. If you're stumped for reasons, you could literally just Google why people joined the military and then adapt it to suit your character. Next is military life. Perhaps one of the harder portions of the character sheet, this is where many people trip and fail. You'll need good knowledge of the ATF lore to write this part. Don't go into excessive detail. But try and make sure each and every year your character was in the military is documented. Research the real-world military branch they went into. Good ones to pick include the Marines, the Army, and perhaps even Navy SEALs. Anything that'd see active, infantry combat. Air Force or Coast Guard are not the best branches to pick. Also look at the After the Flash lore, which will be linked below. Look at what events happened when during World War III. Write your character into these events. Really make them a part of the world they will be role-played in. As with the civilian life, cover how they grew as a person, how their personality changed. Any skills they acquired. Try to maintain that sweet balance between being an effective member of the military but also an imperfect human. You'll also need achievements in the bio that'd make them stand out to the SEAL program. As mentioned earlier with their skills and personality traits, you'll need to back up these achievements in their backstory and lore. Your character won a medal? How? Again, if stumped, search up stories of real people who won these medals and adapt. SEALs were also selected from more experienced members of the military, typically ranging from late 20s to mid-30s. Your character's military life should fit into this more experienced group. The SEAL program would be much more interested in an individual with 10 years of varied experience when compared to somebody with only 5. Have your character be deployed at some point. Explain how that deployment went, what they did. Again, talk about the effects this had on the character as a person. Selection for the SEAL program is also something I see many people fail with. With any luck, this shouldn't be an issue if the skills you've given your character are backed up by their lore. That being said, there's the question of what skills would your character need to have? It's written in the SEAL lore that the program looked for the best soldiers to bring into the program. Your character should be strong enough to operate the 230-pound armor. Intelligent enough to use it to its full potential. This means they likely wouldn't be a Rambo type, charging into battle, but instead more level-headed and calculated in their actions. The character would also need to be proficient in battle and good at working in a team. It's a good idea to throw in some more niche skills. Perhaps engineering, planning and tactics, flexibility in what they do. It is again vitally important to back up all these skills with examples of your character exhibiting them in their backstory. Your character is a good tactician? Come up with a scenario where they worked alongside a squad to plan and carry something out. Don't be unrealistic with it. Your character probably didn't come up with a master plan to destroy an ACMF cell in southern Japan. Perhaps, instead, a patrol went awry and the squad leader was downed, leaving your character to organize a medevac without losing any more squad members. Honestly? It's up to you, but be sensible. As for the SEAL program itself, this is important. Your character would likely be taken in to begin the training around 2031 or very early 2032. The SEAL program is incredibly strenuous on both body and mind. There's very little information around on what SEAL training itself encompassed beyond it being incredibly difficult and full of anti-espionage efforts, so lots of detail about what your SEAL did isn't expected. It is expected, however, to cover how your character changed during this time as well as how they coped with such intense training. Character development is key. When it comes to location of the SEAL facility, that's not overly important, but you will have to consider the logistics of how your SEAL got from facility to the location of whatever ATF game your SEAL will be roleplayed in. Which variant helmet you use also has some bearing. You can't use any variant suit other than the variant A, but if you want to use a variant B or C helmet, try to have some basic logical reasoning why your SEAL would have one of the rarer variant helmets. Post-flash is possibly the easiest part of the character sheet but should still have some attention brought to it. Essential parts to cover should be how the flash impacted your character mentally. It's no small thing for the world to face nuclear Armageddon, so this will be one of the most prevalent aspects of the post-flash biography. You should also make sure to note how your SEAL maintained their suit post-flash. Think of the SEAL application as a lore for getting a SEAL suit approved where you have to explain how the character got it and kept it operable. But otherwise, just detail how the character continued to survive, their mental state, what they did and the like. There's lots of different avenues to go down though. Try to remember your character is human. They will react uniquely to the world around them. Try to reflect this in your bio writing. I thank you for sitting through this and I hope it helps to explain what the SEAL commanders are looking for in your bio. Like I said earlier, I'm not an authority on the matter. I'm just trying to help people get into one of the most coveted factions in all of ATF. There's a link to a transcription in the description for those interested in reading this information. As for further guides, I doubt I'll make any. Hell, I doubt I'll even make any other videos. I just made this because I felt like it. This is all uncertain though. If something gets requested enough, I may make it. Hopefully with better quality editing that wasn't me giving up halfway through because I gave up on Googling clip art. Anyway, thank you for watching and good luck.